Hi, good morning. In continuation of value of supply, today we are going to do examples on the concept of valuation of supply. Yesterday we have completed the concept in valuation of supply. Then today we are going to do examples. Okay. First, First example. Wholesale price for 1 metric ton of cement sold by X Limited in the ordinary course of business is 7,000. Price of 1 metric ton of cement sold by X Limited to an unrelated customer, that is Y, is 6,700. That means the unrelated customer rate is 6,700. Therefore, value of supply made by X Limited to Y Limited is 6,700, which is the price actually paid or payable and not the wholesale prices. Because in wholesale we are selling 7,000, but we are selling to an unrelated customer 6,700. In such a case, the value of supply shall be 7,000, 6,500 only. Why? Because he is an unrelated person and the price is the sole consideration only. In such a case, the value of supply shall be the 6,700 only. Okay. Next example. Just a minute. Okay, sorry. Next. Grandbridge contracts with ABC company to conduct a dealers meet. In furtherance of this, Grandbridge contracts with vendors to deliver the goods or services like water, soft drinks, audio system, projector, catering, flowers at the venue on the stipulated dates at the stipulated prices. Grandbridge is liable to make these payments as contracted. That means ABC company has given a contract to Grandbridge Limited for dealers meet. They have to supply food, they have to supply water, they have to supply soft drink, they have to supply audio system. Who is supplying? Grandbridge is supplying. Who is recipient? ABC company is recipient. Therefore, a Grandbridge is supplying to the ABC company. Next para. The soft drink supplier wants the payment upon the delivery. ABC company agrees to pay the bill raised by soft drinks vendor on Grandbridge on receiving the crates of soft drinks. The amount is not billed by the Grandbridge to ABC company. That means actually ABC company is given a contract to Grandbridge to conduct a dealers meet. They have supplied also some material. They have supplied the water, soft drink and all. In such a case, Grandbridge further actually ABC company is giving a subcontract. ABC company is giving a contract to Grandbridge. Grandbridge subcontract these to some person to supply soft drinks. In such a case, the soft drink supplier supplying soft drinks. In such a case, who is liable to pay? Actually, the Grandbridge is liable to pay the soft drink person, because ABC company is given a contract to Grandbridge. ABC company lump sum amount they are paying to Grandbridge. Grandbridge company has to pay the amount to like water supplier, pay the amount to soft drink like that. But the soft drink supplier requests the payment. In such a case, who is liable to pay? The Grandbridge is liable to pay. But ABC company has make the payment to soft drinks. That means the supplier payment has been paid by the recipient to third party. Any payment is liable to pay by the supplier is payable by the recipient. In such a case, the value of soft drinks shall be included in the value of supply. I can read the second para. The soft drink supplier wants the payment upon the delivery. ABC company, that the recipient agrees to pay the bill raised by the soft drink vendor on the Grandbridge on receiving the crates of soft drinks. Once if on receiving the crates, ABC company agrees to pay the amount to the soft drink vendor. The amount is not billed by the Grandbridge company to ABC. Such amount is not billed by the Grandbridge to ABC company. That means, however, it would be added to the value of services provided by the Grandbridge to ABC company for payment of GST. That means any liability of the supplier has to be paid by the supplier only. Any such amount paid by the recipient, in such a case, the amount shall be added to the value of supply by the supplier for the payment of GST. For the purpose of payment of GST, the value shall be added to the value of supply. Understand? Next one. A supply priced at 2,000 is made, okay, within a credit period of 1 month for payment, okay. That supply is made for 2,000, that the credit period is 1 month. Thereafter, interest at the rate of 12% is chargeable. That is also okay. The payment is received after the lapse of 2 months, but payment credit period is 1 month, but he has made the payment after 2 months. from the date of supply. The amount of 12%, that is 1% per annum, 1% per month on 2000 for 1 month after the free credit period is 20 rupees. This is for 1 month credit period is gone, then he has paid 2 months. He has paid after 2 months. 1 month credit period already is there. Therefore, the lapse is only for 1 month. For 1 month, they are charging 1% per month. So 2000 into 1%, how much? 20 rupees. I can read again. The amount of 12% per annum on 2000 for 1 month after the free credit period is 20. Such interest will be added to the value, and thus the value of supply will be worked out to be 2020. Assume that the interest is to be exclusive of GST. That means 2000 is the supply if the payment is made within 1 month. If the payment is not made within 1 month, thereafter interest at the rate of 1% shall be charged per month. Therefore, payment shall be made after 2 months only. In such a case, credit period 1 month over and 1 month due is there. Therefore, 1 month you have to calculate interest 1% per month for 1 month. So 2000 into 1% per month is equal to 20 rupees. Therefore, the value of supply is equal to value of goods supplied plus interest. That is 2000 plus 1% of 2000. That is 20. Therefore, the value of supply shall be the 2020 for the purpose of GST. Understand? Okay. Next, the selling price of a notebook is 50 rupees. For notebooks sold to students in the government schools, a company uses its CSR funds. CSR means corporate social responsibility funds. Yeah, to pay the seller 30 rupees so that the students can pay only 20 rupees per notebook. The value of notebook will be 50 as this is not a non-government subsidy. If the same subsidy is paid by the central government or state government, the value of notebook would be 20. That means actual sale price of notebook is 50 because subsidy is given by third party 30 rupees. Therefore, the value of supply shall be the 20 rupees. That means they are selling 20 rupees per notebook to the students. But in such a case, any subsidy received other than state government or central government, such amount shall be added to the value of supply. What is the value of supply here? 20 rupees. Subsidy how much? 30 rupees. What is the total value of supply here? 20 rupees plus 30 rupees, 50. But if the state government or central government providing the subsidy, then it is not a problem. We are not adding. Understand? Okay, next. Royal Biscuits Company gives a discount of 30 rupees on the list price to its distributors. Thus, for a carton of spice biscuit, in the invoice, the list price is mentioned as 200 and which a discount of 30% is given to arrive at the final price of 140. It is mentioned in the invoice. Therefore, the value is 140 as the discount is allowed at the time of supply and shown in the invoice. That means we have already discussed if the discount is known at the time of issue of invoice and it shall be mentioned in the invoices. That means it shall be recorded in the invoice that the discount amount is mentioned in the invoice. Such discount shall be allowed. That means total amount is 200 less 30% discount is 60 rupees. Therefore, net amount is 140. In such a case, such a discount shall be allowed. Understand? Because it is recorded in the invoice. Next. Next example. The agreement of Raju Electrical Appliances with its dealers is that purchase of rice cookers over 1000 pieces in Diwali month will entitle them to discount of 5% per cooker. Therefore, the quantum of discount can be determined only at the end of Diwali. Actually, during the month of Diwali, if the Raju Electrical Company has an agreement with the dealers, if they sell more than 1000 cookers in Diwali month, they can get a discount of 5%. When the rice cooker will be sold or not known, it will be known after completion of Diwali month. Then, second point. However, since the agreement relating to discount was in existence at the time of supply and the discount can be worked out for each invoice, such post supply discount will be allowed as a deduction from the value of supply of rice cooker. That means Raju and Company has an agreement with the dealers. If they sell more than 1000 cookers, if they sell more than 1000 pieces in Diwali month, they will entitled to get a additional discount of 5% per cooker. Then the dealers has sold already. In such a case, The agreement are existing. The agreement is entered by the Raju and company with dealers before such supply. Then in such a case, the discount shall be allowed and subject to condition the ITC of such the ITC on such 5% of discount shall be reversed by the dealers. I can read the second para. Raju Electrical Appliances can issue a credit note for 5% of the value of goods along with the GST and claim adjustment of excess tax paid. The dealer must reverse the proportionate input tax credit on relevant stock to bring it in line with the reduced tax. That means the discount shall be allowed subject to condition that it shall be an agreement before such supply, and the ITC on such a discount shall be reversed by the recipient. If these two conditions are satisfied, then Raju Electrical Companies issue a credit note, then the discount shall be allowed. Understand? Next. Pink and Blue Private Limited sold goods to Orange Private Limited. That means Pink and Blue is the supplier and Orange Private Limited is the recipient. On 15th January at 50,000. Therefore, when the supply made on 15th January, what is the value of supply till now? 50,000 exclusive of taxes and discount. Okay. And charged 9,000 as IGST at the rate of 18%. That means 50,000 into 18% is equal to 9,000. Therefore, IGST is 9,000. What is the total value? 59,000. 50,000 plus 9,000. The terms of supply stipulated that discount 2% will be given to OPL, that is recipient, if it makes the payment within 1 month of supply. If the payment is made within 1 month, they can give a discount of 2%. OPL avail the input tax credit of 9,000 in the month of January because in 15th they supplied, then means invoice already received, they have taken a credit for 9,000 in the month of January, but makes the payment for the goods on 10th February. Payment, when the payment made? Payment made in the month of February. PBL issues a credit note of for 1180. Why? Because 1180, 50,000 into 2%, 1,000. On 1,000, 18% also he has to give a credit note. 1,000 into 18% IGST. So 180. Total 1,180. That means 1,000 for value of discount and 180 for proportionate IGST leviable thereon to OPL on 11th February. That they have made payment on 10th February and they issued a credit note on 11th February. After receiving credit note, OPL reverses the input tax credit of 180 attributable to the discount given by the PBPL. PBPL can reduce its GST liability of the month of February by 180. OPL would have paid 57,820 only. That means 50,000 is discount, the value of price, and 9,000 GST. So 59,000. They have supplied on 15th January. Then for the month of January, the return shall be filed by 20th of February. But the payment made on for the month of January, they filed on 1st of February. In such a case, 59,000. This 9,000 credit is taken by the 9,000 credit of ITC shall be taken by the OPL. That is Orange Private, they are taken. But the payment made on 10th February, that is within 1 month they have paid. So as per the agreement, they have given a discount. How much discount? 2%. So 50,000 value of goods, in the 2% is 1,000. On the 1,000 ITC 18%. That also credit has to be given. 1,000 into 18% is 180. Therefore 1,180 credit note has been issued by the supplier to the recipient. Then that is okay. But such a credit shall be reversed by the recipient. Then only discount shall be allowed. What is the credit? The 180 credit is then that 180 IGST amount shall be reversed by the OPL, that is recipient. Then only the discount shall be allowed. In such a case, how much they will have to pay? 50,000 plus 9,000 minus 1,000 minus 180. The amount payment is. If the payment first para is over. Understand? I think 50,000 is the value of goods plus 9,000 GST, 59,000. But the payment made within 1 month. So they got a discount of 2%. On that 18% credit also they will come. But the discount shall be allowed. Such input tax credit shall be reversed by the recipient. Understand? Then second para. In the above example, if the terms of supply did not provide for discount 2% for payment within 1 month, but PBPL offers such discount to OPL at the time of payment after negotiation, the discount will not be allowed as a deduction from the value. PBPL will issue a commercial credit note for only the value of discount for 1000. OPL will not reverse any input tax credit, and PBPL will not also liable to reduce GST liability. That means actually discount is two parts. Once the discount known at the time of supply and it is mentioned in the invoice, then it is given. Then here the discount is not mentioned in the invoice. Because of financial pressure, they go to the recipient and negotiate the amount. If you give the total amount, I will give the discount. In such time, the discount is allowed. The discount is given by the recipient. Sorry, discount is given by the supplier, but such a discount is not allowed under GST for the purpose of payment of tax, because at the time of issue of invoice, the discount, the element of discount not known. I can repeat again. At the time of issue of invoice, the discount element is not known. Therefore, if the discount is given by the supplier on payment of 50,000 within 15 days or 1 month, that discount shall not be allowed as a discount for the purpose of payment of GST. If the discount is given by the supplier, okay, the recipient has to pay only 59,000. That's not a problem. But the discount amount is not accepted by the GST department. You have to pay tax. Just a minute, please. You have to pay tax on 50,000 only. Sorry. Understand? Therefore, how much credit note they have to issue? The credit note shall be issued 2% on 50,000 only. That is 1,000. But the GST amount credit shall not be passed, because the GST amount credit will not. Why? Because it is not passed. It is not allowed by the GST department. Therefore, credit of GST will not be passed to the recipient. Understand? Then it's only just one more example. Black and White Private Limited has provided the following particulars relating to goods sold by to Colorful Private Limited. Who is selling the goods? Goods sold by Colorful. The Colorful Private Limited is the supplier. Black and White has Private Limited is the recipient. Particular list price of the goods exclusive of taxes and discounts. That is the list price. Tax levied by municipal authority on sale of such goods. Can I include this tax or not? Any taxes other than CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST compensation shall be included in the value of supply. These 5 only shall not be included. Therefore, tax levied by municipal authority on sale of such goods shall be included in the value of supply. It shall be included. Then packing charges not included in the price above. It shall not included in the price above. Then you have to include packing charges shall be included in the value of supply. It shall not included in the price above. You have to include. Understand? Next, Black and White Private Limited received 2,000 as a subsidy from NGO on sale of such goods. It is a subsidy. The subsidy is received other than the state government or central government. Then, in such a case, it shall be included. Understand? If the subsidy is given by the central government, it shall reduce. If the subsidy is received other than the state government or central government, it shall be added. The price of 50,000 of goods is after considering such a subsidy. That means the 50,000 is after considering. That means they have already deducted 50,000. That means the value is 52,000. They have reduced 2,000 to subsidy. Therefore, list price is 50,000 they mentioned. In such a case, subsidy given other than government, it shall be added to the list price. Okay. Next. Black and White Limited offers 2% discount on the list price of the goods, which is recorded in the invoice. That means, if the invoice has mentioned the discount, then it is recorded in the invoice. In such a case, it shall be reduced. That means you have to add 50,000 plus tax levied by municipal authority you have to add, and packing charges also you have to add, and Black and White received 2,000 as a subsidy. From that 2,000 subsidy also you have to add, and discount already recorded that you have to deduct. 50,000 into 2%, 1,000. That means 50,000 plus 5,000 plus 1,000 plus 2,000 minus discount of 1,000. See the answer now. Determine the value of taxable service by Black and White Private Limited. Solution. List price of the goods 50,000. Tax levied by municipal authority on sale of such goods, that is includable. Packing charges, it shall be added. A subsidy received from the other than government, it shall be added. Therefore total value is equal to 50,000 plus 5,000 plus 1,000 plus 2,000, 58,000. Less discount at the rate of 2% on 50,000, that shall be reduced. Therefore value of supply shall be the 57,000. Understand? Next. Samriddhi Advertiser conceptualized and designed the advertisement campaign for a new product launched by Newmont Private Limited. Who is providing services to whom? Samriddhi Enterprises designed some product and given to Newmont Private Limited. In such a case, Samriddhi Advertiser is the supplier and Newmont Private Limited is the recipient for a consideration of 5 lakhs. So the value of supply till now it is 5 lakhs. Then Samriddhi Advertiser owed 20,000 to one of its vendor in relation to the advertising service provided by Newmont Private Limited. That means 20,000 Samriddhi advertisement has taken some material or something. Then the value of amount to 20,000 shall be payable to the its vendors. That is supplier's liability to pay 20,000. Then such liability of Samriddhi Advertiser was discharged by Newmont Private Limited. That means 20,000 liability of Samriddhi Private Limited receive supplier has to paid by the recipient. Understand? Any liability of supplier has been paid by the recipient, such amount shall be added to the value of supply. That means here 20,000 liability of Samriddhi Advertisements as paid by the Newmont Private Limited, it shall be added to the value of supply. Then next, Newmont Private Limited delayed payment for consideration, thus paid 15,000 as interest. That means any payment of interest the supplier has charged and the recipient is paid such amount, it shall be included in the value of supply. That means the value of supply is 5 lakhs and liability of supply paid by the recipient is 20,000. That is shall be added to the value of supply, and 15,000 interest also paid by the recipient to the supplier. That amount also added. Here assume the rate of GST is 18%, because till now I have explained the concept. One more concept, the 15,000 is interest is inclusive of GST. We are assuming 15,000 we have received. He is not charging, that means we have received 15,000. The Samriddhi Limited Advertiser has received 15,000 as interest. That is inclusive of GST. In such a case, only value of supply shall be 15,000 divided by 118 into 100. That is the value of supply. Understand? Next, determine the value of taxable supply made by Samriddhi Advertiser. That means the value of supply shall be 5 lakhs plus 20,000 plus 15,000 divided by 118 into 100. We'll see the answer. Service charges 5 lakhs. Okay. Payment made by Newmont Private Limited to vendor of Samriddhi Advertiser, that is liability of the supplier being discharged by the recipient, it shall be included. Interest of delay in payment of consideration. Then that is 12,700. Why 12,700? Because the interest is 15,000. It is inclusive of GST. It is assumed that it is inclusive of GST. Therefore, 15,000 divided by 118 into 100 is the value of supply. That is 12,712. Therefore, value of total taxable supply is equal to 5,32,712. Understand? Next example. Mr. A and B are partners in a partnership firm, A and B company. Mr. A and B are related persons. Thus, a transaction of supply between Mr. A and B in the course or furtherance of business is treated as a supply, because A and B is a partnership firm. In that Mr. A and Mr. B are partners. Any supplies made between A and B in the course or furtherance of business, it is treated as a supply without consideration also. Okay. Next, Second, next example. Mr. Priya holds 30% shares of ABC Limited, 35% shares of XYZ Limited. That means Mr. Priya, he is holding 30% shares in ABC Limited, 35% shares in XYZ Limited. In such a case, ABC Limited and XYZ Limited are related person. But Priya and XYZ and Priya and ABC are not related. The XYZ and ABC are related because she hold shares more than 25% shares in two companies. These two companies shall be related. Priya and ABC is not related. Priya and XYZ is not related. ABC and XYZ are related. Understand? Next. Q Limited has a deciding role in corporate policy. That means Q has a control in corporate policy, operations, management and quality control of R Limited. That means Q has a maximum control in R Limited. That means Q and R related. One person is controlling in operation management or quality control of another company. These two are treated as a related companies. Therefore, Q has a control of R. Therefore, Q and R are treated as a related person. Okay, next. Alpha control the composition of board of directors of Beta Limited and Gamma Limited. One person, Alpha Limited, one company, is control the board of directors of Beta Limited and control the board of directors of Gamma Limited. It is set to control both Beta and Gamma Limited. Therefore, Beta and Gamma are related. One person is controlling one company and the same person is controlling another company. These two companies are related. That means Alpha is controlling board of directors of Beta Limited and Gamma Limited. Therefore, Beta and Gamma Limited are related person, but Alpha and Beta and Alpha and Gamma are not related. Only Beta and Gamma are related persons. He is controlling the companies. The two companies shall be treated as a related companies. Okay. Next example. Brita and Greta together control the Margarita. Two persons are controlling one company. Then these two persons are related person. A and B is controlling the C company. If A and B together control the C company, therefore A and B are related person. Understand? Brita and Greta together control the Margarita. In such a case, Brita and Greta are related person. Okay. Next. Mr. A supplied goods to his agent and the agent is supplying of like kind and quality in subsequent supplies at a price of 1000 rupees per unit on the date of supply. Mr. A also supplies goods to an unrelated customers at the price of 950. First, Mr. E is selling. I can read the question, then we will discuss. Mr. A also supplying goods to an unrelated person at the price of 950 per unit on the date of supply. The value of supply made by Mr. A to the agent shall be 950, whereas he exercises the option, the value shall be 90% of 1000, that is 900 per unit. That means principal is sending goods to agent, the value of supply don't know. But the agent is subsequent sales the same goods to some unrelated person 1000 rupees. In such a case, 90% of such amount shall be taken as the supply of principal, supply made by the principal. Because the agent supplying goods to unrelated person, the value is 1000 rupees. In such a case, 90% of 1000, how much? 900. Therefore, value of supply made by the principal is 900. Or second case, Mr. A also supply goods to an unrelated person at a price of 950. He has also supply like kind quality product to 950 to an unrelated person. In such a case, he can take 950 or he can take 900 at the option of the supplier. Understand? Okay. Next. On 10th May, Mr. Doshi converted USD $100 into 6,400 at the rate of 600. That means $100, each dollar value is 64. 100 into 64, 6,400 through Eastern Money Exchangers. That is Forex dealers. RBI references on 10th May US dollar is 65 per US dollar. The value of supply in this case is $100 is equal to 100 rupees and the GST levied on this amount is, if the RBI reference is not available, 1% of 6,400, that is 64. I can explain now. Then it is a case where the goods, where the where one of the currency is Indian rupees and the RBI reference rate is also available. When the RBI reference rate is available and one of the currency is in Indian rupees, then value of supply shall be the difference between the RBI reference rate and dealer rate, buying rate or selling rate, multiplied by forex units. What is the RBI reference rate and forex dealer's rate? 65 is RBI reference rate and 64 is the forex dealer rate. That is the difference between the RBI reference rate and dealer rate is 65 and 64, 1 rupee into multiplied by number of units. Well, how many units? 100 foreign units, 100 US dollars, 100 into 1 rupee. That is value of supply 100 rupees. In that how you have to pay tax. That is if the tax is 18%, 18% of 100 you have to pay. And if the RBI reference rate is not available, the second case, previously what we had discussed, if your RBI reference rate is available and the money converted into, and one of the currencies Indian rupees. If RBI reference is not available, then 1% of the amount converted into Indian rupees. 1% of such amount means $100 and each dollar is 64 rupees. 100 into 64 how much? 6,400. On that 1% shall be the value of supply. Therefore 1% of 6,400 is equal to 64. Therefore value of supply shall be the 64 rupees. On that we need to pay tax. You have to identify the tax rate. The tax rate is, for example, the tax rate is 18%. You have to pay 18% on 64 rupees. Okay? Understand? Next. US dollar 9,000 are converted into UK pounds 4,500. RBI reference rate at that time for US dollar is 63 and per US dollar and UK pounds is 82 per UK pound. In this case, neither of the currencies are exchanged in Indian rupees. That means US dollars are converted into UK pounds. Neither of the currencies are Indian rupees. In such a case, first you have to convert it into Indian rupee. US dollars you have to convert it into Indian rupee. UK pounds you have to convert it into Indian rupees. The least of the such amount shall be taken. 1% of such amount shall be the value of supply. Again I am telling you, again in reading. First you have to convert it into Indian rupees. First US dollars converted into Indian rupees. UK pounds you have to convert it into Indian rupees. Least of such amount shall be taken. On that 1% of such amount shall be the value of supply. Then 9,000 US dollars. What is the rate? 63. 9,000 into 63. That is 5,60,000. Then UK pounds are converted into Indian rupees. UK pound, what is the rate? 82 per UK pound. That's therefore 4,500 UK pounds into 82 rupees per pound. Therefore 3,69,000. The least of lower of amount, what is the lower of amount? 5,67,000, 3,69,000. The lower of the amount 3,69,000. Therefore value of supply shall be the 1% of 3,69,000. Therefore 1% of 3,69,000 is equal to 3,690. Therefore the value of supply shall be the 3,690. Then option 2, method 2 also we have. What is the method 2? Up to 1 lakh 1%, 1 lakh exceeding 1 lakh to 9 lakh 10 lakh 0.5% plus 0.5% plus 500 and exceeding 10 lakhs 5,500 plus 0.1%. Or 60,000 whichever lower. Or 60,000 whichever is lower. That means maximum value of supply under method 2 is 60,000 only. Understand? Okay. We'll see. The same here, it has been mentioned here. Okay. Next. Mr. X, a money changer, has exchanged 10,000 to Indian rupees, 10,000 US dollars to Indian rupees at the rate 64 per US dollars. Mr. X wants to value the supply in accordance with the 32(2)(b) of the CGST rules. 32(2)(b) means the second rule. B. A is that is if the neither of the currencies are not Indian rupees. If one of the currency is Indian rupees, then if the one of the currency is Indian rupees, the difference between the buying rate or selling rate and RBI reference rate, like that. But B method is up to 1 lakhs is 1%, 1 lakh to 9 lakhs is equal to 0.5%, about 10 lakhs is 0.1%. That is second method. So he has to calculate the value of supply under second method only. Therefore, what is the value of supply? First you have to convert the amount into Indian rupees. $10,080 into 64, how much? 6,40,000. Up to 1 lakh, 1% of such amount. Therefore, 1 lakh into 1% is 1,000. That is here mentioned. Value of currency exchanged in Indian rupees is equal 64 into 10,000, 6,40,000. Up to 1 lakh, 1%. That is 1% of 1 lakh is equal to 1,000. Second, the balance is 5 lakhs. 6,40,000, already 1 lakh we have made here. The remaining 5,40,000, the percentage applied is 0.5% on the amount exceeding 1 lakh. Therefore, amount exceeding 1 lakh is 5,40,000. On that 0.5% is equal to 0.5% of 5,40,000 is equal to 2,700. Therefore, the value of supply shall be the 3,700 only. Understand? Okay. Next. Then, Mr. U is an air travel agent. Compute the value of supply. Just a minute, please. Okay. Yes, the example. Mr. U is an air travel agent. Compute the value of supply of service made by him during a month with the help of the following particulars furnished by him. It is a air travel agent service. What is the value of supply? What we have discussed in case of air travel agent, the value of supply shall be the 5% of basic fare in case of domestic travel and 10% of basic fare in case of international tickets. Then particulars, basic fare, other charges and fee, taxes and total value of tickets. Domestic bookings 1,900,000 basic fare, international bookings 3,16,800. That means in domestic booking basic fare is 1,900,000, 5% of basic fare, 5% of 1,900,000 is the value of supply for domestic bookings, and international booking 10% of 3,16,800, that is 31,688. Then we'll read the answer. Computation of value of supply of services made by you in a month. Basic fare in case of domestic bookings 1,900,000. On that 5% is 5,045. Basic fare in case of international booking 3,16,880. Therefore, value of supply shall be 10% of such supply, that is 31,688. Therefore, total value of supply is equal to 36,733. Understand? Next one. Arihant Life Insurance Company Limited, ALICL, has charged the gross premium of 180 lakhs from the policy holder with respect to life insurance policies in 2017-18, out of which 100 lakhs have been allocated for investment on behalf of the policy holder. That means total gross premium collected is 180 and 100 lakhs has been allocated for investment on behalf of the policy holder. Okay. Compute the value of supply of life insurance policies compute the value of supply of life insurance services provided by ALICL. If the amount allocated for investment has been intimated by ALICL to the policy holder at the time of supply of service, that means the amount allocated for investment has been intimated by the policy company, insurance company, to the policy holder. In such a case, what is the value of supply we have discussed? The gross premium charged minus amount allocated for investment. Value of supply is equal to gross premium charged minus amount allocated for investment. What is the gross premium here? 180. What is the amount allocated? 100. Therefore, the value of supply is equal to 180 lakhs minus 100 lakhs. That is 80 lakhs. In first case, it is 80 lakhs. Then, if the amount allocated for investment has not been intimated by the ALICL to the policy holder at the time of providing service, if it is not intimated, 25% of such value. If it is intimated, it shall be reduced, the gross premium shall be reduced from the amount allocated, then answer, that is the value of supply. If such intimation is not known, then in such a case 25% of gross premium charged. What is the gross premium? 180. 25% of 180 lakhs is equal to value of supply. In third case, if the gross premium charged with the ALICL from the policy holder is only towards risk cover, it is only risk cover, then what is the value of supply? Total amount shall be treated as a value of supply. Total amount of gross premium shall be treated as a value of supply. Therefore, 180 lakhs shall be as a value of supply. Then note, ALI has started its operation in 2017-18. Thus, the entire gross premium of 180 lakhs is the premium for the first year of all the policies. If it is second year, in second case, The premium allocated for investment is not been intimated. For first year 25% of 180 lakhs. For subsequent years 12.5% of 180 lakhs. Then answer we'll see. As per Rule 32(4) of the CGST rules, value of supply of services in relation to life insurance services is the gross premium reduced by the amount allocated for investment on behalf of the policy holder if such amount is intimated to the policy holder at the time of supply service. Understand? That means if intimated to the policy holder, gross premium minus amount allocated for investment. In all other cases, 25% of premium for the first year and 12.5% of the premium in the subsequent year. That we have already discussed. However, the entire premium is paid by the policy holder is only towards risk cover. Such gross premium is the value of the life insurance services. That means if the policy is towards risk cover, the total gross premium is the value of service. In the light of the aforesaid provisions, the value of supply of life insurance services provided by ALICL in a financial year 2017-18 will be computed as follows. Amount allocated for investment. In first case, value of services is 100 lakhs minus 180 lakhs minus 100 lakhs. That is 80 lakhs. In second case, value of services is 25% of 180 lakhs. That is 45 lakhs. In third case, it is only risk cover. Third case. Therefore, value of supply is equal to total amount of gross premium, that is 180 lakhs. Understand? Next. All these examples I had taken from CA study material final. A company X Limited, which deals in buying and selling of second-hand cars, purchases a second-hand Maruti Alto of March 2014 make. Original price 5 lakhs for 3 lakhs, but the original value is 5 lakhs, but he has purchased for 3 lakhs from an unregistered person and sells the same after a minor furbishing, small painting or furbishing works, and sold for 3,50,000. Then the supply of cars to that company for 3 lakhs shall be exempted, and the supply of the same by the company to customer is for 3,50,000 shall be taxed. First you understand, it is a service of second-hand cars. If any person buying and selling at second-hand cars, what is the value of supply? Value of supply shall be the difference between the buying rate and selling rate. Then one condition is there: he shall not be taken in bet. Such person who is dealing second-hand cars, he is not eligible to entitle ITC. Understand? That means the difference between the buying rate and selling rate is the value of supply, and the buyer, the registered person cannot tax ITC. And when he is purchased car from an unregistered person, he is not liable to pay any tax on reverse charge mechanism. That one circular is there. In that, if any car is purchased by second-hand car dealer from any unregistered person, then he shall not be liable to pay any tax on reverse charge mechanism. Therefore, in such a case, what is the value of supply? Buying rate is 3 lakhs, selling rate is 3,50,000. Therefore, value of supply is equal to 3,50,000 minus 3 lakhs is equal to 50,000. Then second para, the value of GST for the purpose shall be 50,000. That is the difference between the selling and purchase price of the company. In case of any other value is added by repair, refurbishment, recondition, the same shall be added to the value of goods and be part of the margin. Okay. If the margin scheme is opted for a transaction of second-hand car, the person selling the car to the company shall not issue any taxable invoice, and the company purchasing the car shall not claim the ITC. That means the registered person cannot issue taxable invoice, and the company, that means if the margin company is opted for transaction of second-hand cars, the person selling the car to the company, because the second-hand person purchasing the car from an unregistered person, he is not issuing any tax invoice. The unregistered person cannot issue tax invoice, and the dealer of second-hand goods cannot claim ITC. Understand? Next example. A is an importer, B is a custom broker. Custom broker means C and F agent. A approaches B for customs clearance work in respect of an import consignment. The clearance of import consignment and delivery of consignment to A would also require taking servicing of transporter. Okay, transporter service is required. So A also authorized to B to incur on behalf of procuring the services of a transporter and agrees to reimburse for the transporter cost at actuals. That means A is appointing B as a customs C&F agent. In such situation, transport service is required. Therefore, A authorizes Mr. B, that is C&F, A is authorizing C&F agent to incur expenditure on behalf of the principal. That means he is arranging the transport. Actual amount only he can be reimbursed. Suppose 1 lakh, the transport charges is 50,000. Only 50,000 he can pay. Any more amount they can pay. In such a case, it shall be treated as a pure agent cost. Pure agent cost shall not be added to the value of supply, as already discussed under the concept of value of supply. Then second para. Here B is providing custom broker services to A, which would be on a principal to principal basis. The ancillary service for transportation is procured by B on behalf of A as a pure agent cost. And expenses incurred by B on transportation should not form part of value of customs broker. Services provided by B to A. Thus, in sum, the substance is the relevance of the pure agent concept in GST. That means any amount incurred as a pure agent cost, it shall not be included in the area for supply. Only his services, C&F agent services would be taxable, but pure agent cost shall not be included in the value of supply. It shall be recorded in the invoice. One conditionate, the pure agent cost also it shall be mentioned in the invoice. What is the invoice? Invoice value is, suppose C&F agent cost is 1 lakh. That is the value of supply. Pure agent cost 50,000. Therefore, total value is 1,50,000. Therefore, but value of supply for the purpose of paying GST is only 1 lakh. Pure agent cost will not be included in the value of supply because it is only actual cost he is reimbursing. Okay, next example. Suppose a custom broker issues an invoice for reimbursement of few expenses and for consideration towards agency service rendered to an importer, the amount charged by custom broker below. That means one company is appointed C&F agent for clearance of consignment. The details are as follows. What is that one? Component charged in the invoice. These details are charged in the invoice. Agency income 10,000, traveling expenses, hotel expenses 15,000, custom duty 55,000, dock duty is 5,000. In the above situation, what is the C&F? Pure agent cost. Custom duty is a pure agent cost. It will be paid by the agent, and the same amount shall be recovered from the principal. Docks dues. It is also docks dues. Nothing but the amount shall be paid to the customs department. In such a case, it shall be paid to the department on behalf of the principal. The same amount shall be recovered from the principal as a pure agent cost. That means agency income and traveling expenses shall be the value of supply. That means 10,000 plus 15,000 is the value of supply, and the custom duty, dock duty shall be treated as a pure agent cost. Therefore, GST shall be paid on 10,000 plus 15,000. GST shall be paid on 25,000 only. I can read the answer. In the above situation, agency income and travel hotel expenses shall be added for determining the value of supply by the custom broker. Whereas dock dues and custom duty shall not be added to the value, provided the conditions of pure agent. Because these two are pure agent cost, it shall be reimbursed at actuals. In such a case, these two are not included. Agency income and traveling income only included in the value of supply. Understand? Then there ends the examples on value of supply. I think you enjoyed the chapter. Thank you very much.